Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Arlington Weekly News. I'm Craig Nolan. Thanks for joining us.
Buenas noches, Mr. Nolan. I'm Daniel Pineda.
And my name's Adele Quo.
And here we go with another show, gee whiz, somewhere around the middle part
Middle
of
of
October.
Oktoberfest.
Burr month number 2, our post-Columbus Day show here for this week. Our usual stuff, I guess, right?
Yes.
News.
News you can use.
News you can use. Adele Quo and...
It's easy being green.
Our CVV File, Rich and his reviews, news for seniors, and Miriam Gennari is here doing an interview with Stuart Rosenthal of the Senior Beacon. And that's our show, but before we go, a social media reminder from my part.
Absolutely, Mr. Nolan. You can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News and the number 1. And also facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News.
All right.
Correct.
Gracias, Senor Pineda. Here we go. The first of our news items. Senior glasses in place here. Well, the Design Arlington Awards are an annual event to spotlight the best residential, commercial, industrial, and civic designs in the county. The 2015 program is now open and accepting applications. Whether you're a designer, an owner, or whatever, you can submit any public or private work that has been completed from this year back to the year 2000. Examples of submissions include plazas, parks, historic preservation projects, renovations, green infrastructure, public art, and more. You can visit projects.arlingtonva.us for details. Daniel.
Well, Craig, the county has a new zoning administrator. That's Arlova Vonhim, has been in the Arlington County government since 2012. She started as a principal planner in July 2012 and was previously serving in zoning leadership roles for the District of Columbia and the City of Evanston in Illinois. The current zoning administrator is Norma Kozart. She has been in this role since 2012 and was the acting zoning administrator for a year before that. The zoning office handles interpretation of zoning ordinance regulations affecting things like construction, land uses, and parking spaces. Craig.
And Daniel, speaking of how land is being used here in Arlington, in the county, it's changing. They're changing their retail plan. Over the summer, the county board approved the Arlington County Retail Plan. The key changes include shifting from ground floor, quote unquote, retail to more flexible retail everywhere. That approach. According to Arlington County Board Chair Mary Hines, the plan will, quote, improve and strengthen the retail sector in Arlington and, quote, better serve those who live and work here in the community as they shop, dine, get their haircuts, and do their banking on the streets throughout Arlington. The plan was developed in partnership with local businesses and residents. So this plan replaces the 01 Retail Action Plan. New stuff underway. Daniel.
And Craig, retail is only one area that Arlington officials want to improve. Arlington Economic Development, AED, is focused on bringing more young technology startups to the area. One incentive is a new contest that gives the winner 3 months of free home and office space in the county. The Startup Arlington Contest winner will get to work at Car Workplace, a co-working space, and sleep at Residence Inn. Just visit the website, that's arlingtoneconomicdevelopment.com, for details. The application must be in by October the 17th and final decisions made by October the 21st. Craig.
And Daniel, as mentioned earlier, the previously mentioned on the Arlington Weekly News, VDOT, Virginia's Department of Transportation, is planning to make major changes to I66. Whether the updates are helpful or not depends on who you ask. To participate in a discussion on the outside the Beltway meetings portion of the plan, you can attend the following meetings. They should be on your screen there. They'll run from about 6:30 to 8:30. On Monday, October 19, at Oakton High School Cafeteria. They're located at 2900 Sutton Road in Vienna, Virginia. On Tuesday, October 20, VDOT's Northern Virginia District Office, located at 4795 Alliance Drive in Fairfax. And then finally on Wednesday, October 21 at Piney Branch Elementary School Cafeteria and Gym. They're located at 8310 Linton Hall Road in Bristow, Virginia. So those meetings coming up on the possible changes to I-66. And we'll be back with what's next after we hear from Adele Quo, and
It's easy being green.
Here's Adele.
Well, hello.
Nice crown there.
Where's Joe?
Thank you. Joe is still in
Tilted queen
vacation.
tonight.
No, today on Easy Being Green, it's easy with the monarch migration and milkweed story. And so we have milkweed here filling in on the side. Fall's in the air, and every fall a magical journey takes place. The magnificent monarch migration to Mexico. From September to late October, the monarch butterflies in the eastern U.S. migrate south as much as 3,000 miles from as far north as Canada to overwinter in south-central Mexico's Oyamel fir forests. In all the world, no butterflies migrate like the monarchs of North America. For more information, visit the websites shown on your screen. Last year, Newsweek magazine reported monarchs have declined 90% in the last 20 years. The female monarchs only lay their eggs on milkweeds, and caterpillars only feed exclusively on milkweeds, which is their only host plant. There are chemical substances in the leaves of the non-native plants that are simply too foreign for caterpillars to swallow and digest. These monarch caterpillars are picky eaters. Therefore, monarchs must have milkweed plants to eat or they will starve to death. Experts say that loss of milkweed habitat is a major contributor to the monarch's decline. If monarchs cannot live without our native milkweeds, called Asclepias, and our milkweeds are disappearing because of parking lots, office buildings, condominiums, and shopping malls that have replaced our natural landscapes, then plant some milkweed on your patch of dirt. The great news is that there are several species of milkweed native to Arlington that bloom in a variety of colors such as rose, magenta, orange, dusty pink, or lavender purple. Check the websites on your screen to find out more about these milkweeds. Try the swamp milkweed, Asclepias incarnata, in the damp spots of your rain garden or at the edge of a pond. Purple milkweed, also called Asclepias purpurescens, works in partially shady, dry areas, and it's easy to grow. And one of my favorites is butterfly weed, which is called Asclepias tuberosa because of its brilliant orange flower clusters from July into fall. If you love monarch butterflies, then you must love the milkweed plants. Plant any native milkweed in your garden to welcome our monarchs year after year. And remember, it's easy being green, sharing this monarch migration and milkweed story. Have you planted your milkweeds?
Monarchs and milkweed.
A lot of M words
wow,
today.
That's easy to remember. Though I like that.
Migration to Mexico.
Beautiful.
M5.
Thanks, Adele.
I want to see Joe
We
next
appreciate
week.
it.
Well, I hope Joe can make it back here.
There we go. As promised now with the balance of our CVV file, our Community Bulletin Board file. Discovery Education and Arlington Public Schools are teaming up to host a Digital Parent Learning Night. They want to show parents how teaching methods are changing at Arlington Public Schools, especially concerning technology. Input from parents of elementary school students and other Arlington residents is a key part of the process. This event will be held at Randolph Elementary School on Tuesday, October 20 at 6:30 in the evening. To register, visit tinyurl.com at APS Parents Night. Daniel.
Well, Craig, a key part of the changes in teaching method is the introduction of personalized learning devices. By the fall of 2017, all students in grades 2 through 8 should have iPads, and each student in 9 through 12 grades will have a MacBook Air. APS needs parents' help and feedback as stakeholders in the process. Just go to the website tinyurl.com/learningdevicehandbook to submit your feedback. The last revision will be available on October the 31st, so get those iPads ready.
Amazing. iPads and MacBook Airs. Who would have thunk it? All right, here we go with continuing with our CVV file. Well, the library has a program this fall, especially for the 20 to 30-somethings in Arlington. The How to Adult series features different authors discussing issues young adults commonly navigate, including relationships, first-time home buying, cooking, and a lot more. All these free talks will be held Wednesdays at 7 p.m. in the Central Library's auditorium. On October 21st, learn how to house if you're a first-time house buyer. That's all happening at the library. Daniel.
Well, Craig, did you ever read Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, or perhaps Edie's House? These and more children's classics, best-selling books were penned by, did you guess who already? Judy Bloom. Bloom will be in Arlington for a free discussion and book signing. The event will be on Thursday, October the 22nd at Washington Lee High School's auditorium from 7 to 9 p.m. Arlington Library's Director Diane Kresh will facilitate a question and answer session with the famous author, and attendees can purchase Bloom's new book in the unlikely event.
All right, thanks, Daniel, and we'll be back with our News for Seniors file right after we hear from our man about town, Mr. Rich Masabny.
Hey, Rich.
Rich.
Thank you, boys. Thank you, thank you. Signature Theater is an originating sponsor of the Women's Voices Theater Festival, currently going on in more than 50 theaters in the metro area. The theaters are featuring plays written by women, and Signature's entry is a world premiere of a musical called Cake Off by Sherry Wilner. The setting is a fictitious 50th annual Millbury Cake Off competition with a battle of sexes. The winner will receive $1 million prize in this show. The final two bakers are Rita Gore, played by Sherry L. Edelin, she's well known around here, and Paul Hubbard, played by Todd Bonapane, both perfectly cast in this very energetic show. Watch out if you're in the front row. A lot of splattering going around. Stealing the show is Jamie Smithson, who plays Jack DeVault, the MC of Cake Off, but also plays two former female Cake Off winners. He is too much. He's hilarious. Terrific piano accompaniment by Andrea Grady and great direction by Joe Calaco. Cake Off is about 90 minutes and runs through November 22. It's great fun. For more information and tickets, call 703-820-9771 and check the website at www.sigtheater.org. It's on the screen. I thought I'd give our viewers a sneak preview at some shows I'll be reviewing over the next few weeks on the Arlington Weekly News. On Saturday, October 17, the National Chamber Ensemble will be performing at the Roslyn Spectrum Theater at 7:30 p.m. Last week, I had Leo Shasansky, the artistic director, was here in the studio, and we talked about the show coming up, Mozart and Friends. I've been to many National Chamber Ensemble concerts down at the Spectrum in Roslyn. As first-class stuff. Tickets can be purchased at the door. Now, on Wednesday, October 21, Arena Stage is presenting At Wit's End, which is all about one of my wife's favorite authors, award-winning humorist Irma Bombach, the same woman who wrote Kick-Ass Wit of Molly Ivins. Allison and Margaret Engel are the writers of this play. They live here in Northern Virginia. It should be a hoot. At Wit's End runs through November 8 at the Arena Stage in D.C. Arlington's Dominion players will be at Gunston 2 beginning October 23 with Carrie the Musical. It'll be interesting to see how they turn this horror show into a musical. The show runs weekends through November 7. One of my favorite community theaters is the Little Theater of Alexandria, LTA. Opening on October 24 is the comedy The Allergist's Wife. LTA always does comedies well, so I'm looking forward to this show. The Allergist's Wife runs through November 14. And finally, Constellation Theater in the District, up on 14th Street and T, has a great musical opening on Monday, October 26th, called Avenue Q. I saw this play last year at the National Theater, and I'm anxious to see what Constellation will do with this. Avenue Q runs through November 22. So meet me back here in 2 weeks, and I'll let you know which of these are hits and which are misses. And a reminder, excuse me, check my website, richmasabny.com, or my blog, richmasabnyreviews.blogspot.com. And you get an idea of some of the shows that I've reviewed, and you can read them at your leisure. Okay, thanks very much. Back to the boys.
Hey, thanks, Rich.
Thank you,
Kickoff.
Rich.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the sound of that one.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is.
That's its signature?
Yeah. It's
Kickoff.
good. It's good.
Sounds good. Good stuff. Thanks, Rich. We appreciate it. As promised now, moving right along on this edition of the Arlington Weekly News, our News for Seniors file, and here we go. The Senior Beacons 50 Plus Expo is coming up Sunday, October 25. Several people will be there, including guest speaker and author journalist Gail Sheehy, representatives from Arlington's Office of Senior Adult Programs, and AWN's senior news correspondent Judy Masabny will be there. So stop by, get your free 55-plus guide and a chance to meet and say hello to Judy. The event will be happening from noon to 4 on the 3rd level of Ballston Mall. For more information, give them a call. Their number should be on your screen there, 703-228-4721. Daniel.
Go, Judy.
Go, Judy.
Well, the Freecycle Network is a global 7 million strong nonprofit. Members aim to reduce waste by keeping good, usable stuff out of landfills. Arlington's Freecycle chapter will be held an organizational meeting this month where they will promote a new unique regifting program. The meeting will be on Friday, October the 23rd at 11 a.m. at Arlington Mills Senior Center. Membership is free. Just give them a call to register. That's at 703-228-7369. Mr. Nolan.
All right, sir, and also some information now on Aging in Place. Arlington Neighborhood Village is a newly created volunteer program, a nonprofit designed to help seniors age in place. It began in April of last year. The village's program manager, Kim Santz, will present an update on membership and events. This is coming up Wednesday, October 21 at 1 in the afternoon at Langston Brown Senior Center. For more information and to register, give them a call. The number should be on your screen right there, 703-228-6300. Daniel.
Well, Craig, Lee Senior Center is looking for Monday morning quarterbacks. Now that football season, well, is in full swing, Lee Senior Center's director, Adriana Carr, thought it would be fun to give fans, well, a place to dissect plays and second-guess coaches. For more information and to sign up, just give Lee a call. That's at 703-228-0555. And as always, Mr. Nolan, we want to thank our own Judy Masabny. Thank you so much, Judy. We love you.
All right, we'll be back with a sign-off and a quick bye-bye if we have time right after we hear from Miriam Gennari and her guest. Here's Miriam.
Hi, welcome to another edition of the Sustainable Scoop. I have the pleasure of welcoming back publisher Stuart Rosenthal, who publishes The Beacon. How are you, Stuart?
Thrilled to be here, Miriam. Thank you. Doing well.
Well, listen, I first have to just start off by saying they're wrong. The experts are wrong. The newspaper is alive and well.
Thank God, yes.
Yeah, well, that's because you have a very loyal demographic of 50 and above readers.
That's correct. Right, we've been in business for 27 years now. And there was a time there I was concerned that the internet was going to put us out of business, but it turns out that our readers really like print and they like The Beacon, so we're very fortunate.
Well, one of the reasons that they like The Beacon is because you cater and actually answer the questions that a lot of people are thinking about and are on their minds before they actually have those needs. And one of the ways that you do that really well is by holding an annual event.
Yes.
Tell us about your event coming up this month.
Our 50 Plus Expo, we now actually do it in 2 locations, both in Montgomery County and in Arlington, to sort of have our readers throughout the area convenient for them both. And we have wonderful speakers. We have all kinds of exhibitors, businesses, nonprofits, and government agencies with useful information and giveaways. We have entertainment. We have health screenings, flu shots, door prizes. all kinds of things happening.
This
Computer training.
This event
Yeah.
is enormous. The people who show up, well, and I have to mention that Arlington was recently mentioned as one of the best places in the country to retire.
Yes, I
so
saw
we
that.
are loaded with people who are looking for activities and need lots of services, and their family members are coming here. So well, first, tell me about your speakers. Who's going to be at your first?
Well, let me say what it is, if you don't mind. Okay,
sure.
there are 2 Sundays in a row. October 18th is in Silver Spring, downtown Silver Spring at the Civic Center, and the following Sunday, October 25th, at Ballston Common Mall on the 3rd level where the movie theater is.
Right.
And they're both from noon to 4 on those 2 days. And our speakers, you're right, are the most exciting part of it. In Maryland, our speaker is going to be Tammy Darvish. People know her in this area because she's been in the news a lot recently,
Cars.
right? Dark Cars.
That's right.
She grew up in the Dark Car family, the automotive dealership family company, and had been there for 30 years, working her way up, and was executive vice president, and she and her 2 brothers were running the company with their father. And the father decided it was time to retire, and there had been an understanding, according to Tammy, that the family would be the business would be divided up among the 3 siblings, the 2 half-brothers of hers, and herself. And it turns out that when the push came to shove, they said, you know, you're not part of this anymore. It'll go to the boys. The father decided, not to you, my daughter.
Oh my.
So she was out of a job. They just basically pushed her out.
Her whole career.
Her whole career, 30 years, her whole expectation of her future. Early 50s, I mean, she's like a beacon reader, right? She's at that age where it happens to so many people. You know, they've had a career, they've been involved with it for so long, and then for one reason or another, they lose their job. There's downsizing, or there's a family spat, or there's, you know, the company closes or whatever, and then you've got to start over. How do you do that?
Got to write the next chapter.
How do you do that? So she's done a remarkable turnaround, and she's going to be talking about it. You know, what do you do? What do you go through? What is the personal experience? What do you do to look at your skills? How do you move on from there? I think it'll be a very interesting talk.
Well, I think that a lot of people will be interested in the topic, not just those that are in careers right now that are worried about losing their jobs, but people who just want to make a transition. And this area is wonderful for those kinds of opportunities.
You're quite right.
And now Gail Sheehy?
Yes, Gail Sheehy, the best-selling author. She wrote Passages, you know, what is it, 30 years ago? One of the best sellers of all time, about human development, the stages of life, and that kind of thing. And it stopped at the age of 50, because when she wrote it, she was, you know, in her late 20s or something like that. So now that she's older, she's written a number of other Passages books about growing older. She wrote a book on sex in the older woman. She wrote a book on menopause, and now she's written her memoir. She's now 77, so she's going to talk about her life and what she's experienced, and about how being a daring person, which she has always been, has gotten her where she is, and how that's what people, everybody has a moment when they take a dare in their life. They do something that they don't feel too comfortable with, but which is important to them to move forward, and she wants to talk about that and how to do that, and also interview people who have had daring experiences, as she's going to maybe put together a new book and also her website.
Well, that sounds wonderful. I do think that sometimes, you know, you don't really know what you're going to encounter in the future, but having an opportunity to speak to someone who's faced those situations, menopause. I mean, I'll be honest. This magazine and this newspaper means more to me now than ever. and let's just talk about some of the things that you present in your paper that are really helpful to seniors, but also to people of all ages. Questions they want to know: Medicare, retirement.
Right, Medicare is actually a big issue right now, because, not an issue so much, but there's the timing of the year. October 15th to December 7th is the annual open season for Medicare. And that means that's the time you can switch or renew your Part D prescription drug plan or your Medicare Advantage plan. It's a really important time for people who are on Medicare, who are 65 or older, because so many people choose a plan or drug plan, and then they just stick with it because it's what they have. But it changes every year.
Well,
right?
thanks to your paper, if they pick it up this month, they can get some advice on that.
We have a story exactly on this: what to do, what to look at, what to be aware of, the changes.
You can get information about senior housing.
Yes.
You can also find out about reverse mortgages. It was like any topic I wanted to know.
We have our housing and home care section in this month. Every quarter we have that, and it's full of a lot of interesting stories this month as well.
All right. Well, there's one other thing that you offer, and it's a directory. Can you tell us a little bit about that directory?
Well, actually, it's a Montgomery County directory. It's the Seniors Resource Guide. We haven't gotten one yet for Virginia. People ask us about it now and then. Honestly, the issue is that there's so many different jurisdictions in Virginia, and they all have their own rules and jurisdictions and such, that we haven't been able to figure out how to make that into one directory.
All right. Well, we'll give you something else to work on.
Yes.
Right now, let's keep the focus on the event. So recap for me.
Okay. Flu shots, by the way, if you're over 65, there's the high-dose flu shot, which is not so easy to come by, so you can get that also at our expo. Health screenings of all sorts.
Entertainment?
Entertainment. In fact, we have the Miss Senior Virginias from 2012, 13, 14, and 15
Awesome.
performing, doing great things.
Excellent.
Lots
And when
of fun.
is that?
Sunday, October 18th in Silver Spring, and October 25th at Ballston Mall, noon
From
to 4.
noon to 4.
Both
Excellent.
days.
Thanks so much
Come
for
and bring
coming
your
back.
friends.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to be there. I'm going to drag my husband.
Great.
Or he might drag me. Anyway, thanks again for coming,
Thank
and
you.
we'll look forward to the expo. Thank you, viewers, for watching The Sustainable Scoop. I'm Miriam Gennari. Back to the news desk.
This interview, 10. All right, thanks, Miriam and Mr. Rosenthal, Stuart Rosenthal from the Arlington Senior Beacon. And that's our show. Anything else to add before we go, gents?
What about the butterfly?
The butterfly and the crown.
It's great.
Monarchs and milkweed. If you got milkweed around, keep it. Don't cut it down. The monarchs like
There
it.
it is.
Yeah, there it
There's
is.
the shot.
Very
What a
nice.
shot.
All right.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Mr. Bill. Okay, that's our show. We got to go. So we thank you for watching this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. Have a safe week. If you're there next week, we'll be here and we'll try it all again. Have a safe week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Peace.